So good day, everybody. It's now June the 2nd. This is our monthly HIVE team meeting, and it is being recorded. So that's why I just want to note that it is June the 2nd. So welcome. At the moment, we have Catherine online, and I'm hoping, as I say, it will be recorded. So hopefully everybody will be able to. Who can't join us today. There are a number of people who've said they already can't join us today. It's very busy, but there is a recording which they'll be able to see later. So we always start with how is everybody? So Catherine, you have the floor. How are you? What are you eating? Oh, Catherine was just invited to say something. We are recording, Dofa. So would you like to just let us know how you are? We were just having a round of seeing how everybody is. So could you do your check-in, please, Dofa? How are you doing?
Yeah, Morgana, good evening. Good
Good
evening,
evening.
everyone. Yeah, thank you very much. I think for me, I'm actually filled with joy at the moment because currently I must say that I successfully implemented the Greening Taraba project,
Yes,
which is more like a start of a bigger journey. So I feel happy about this actually. The
excellent,
process
excellent.
and everything was actually stressful, coupled
Yeah,
with a coupled with a lot of challenges, but
excellent.
still at that, I feel happy that we were able to implement this project. I missed a whole lot of challenges. I actually learned a lot in the process. I learned a whole lot of lessons. So I feel happy today, knowing for the very big initiative actually. So all thanks to Morgana and the
Thank you.
living environment team. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Well, we're coming back because that's one of the big items for today. So I'd like you to explain a little bit more about, and we could show some photographs, etc. So that's our check-in. Catherine's back again. I don't know what happened, Catherine. You suddenly popped up. So you were just about to tell us how you are doing.
Well, you asked me what I was eating. This is my lunch. It's leftover pasta from Lena. So really nice Italian pasta for me for lunch. And what happened is, as I've told people in other meetings today, I am button challenged. And
Sorry,
so
sorry. What
somewhere,
challenged?
button,
Button.
Button, button. So if I
Oh,
have to push something, then things go awry.
oh,
And that's
button
what
as in
happened.
click
I
here.
pushed something on my phone and it shut my Zoom call off
Oh my gosh.
completely and sent me back into a different WhatsApp group that I started from. And yeah, so I'm doing fine. Thank you. It's a beautiful day here. I keep opening and closing my window because now it's warm, but then it will cool off. But it's nice. It's a beautiful spring day. We're having
Excellent.
quite a few of them this year, which is very strange. Normally, we only have spring for about 5 days and then it becomes summer. So I'm kind of liking this easing into summer that we're doing here in Canada. So that's, and like I said, this is my third meeting of the day.
Oh,
Yay,
there you
me.
go. There you go. It's my first. No, actually I've had no, it's my second, but one was private. Anyway, thank you for your check-in. My check-in is well, we've just had a torrential rain pour. So you can see I'm sort of, it's been really, really hot these last few days with soaring temperatures way in some parts of the Netherlands over the 30s, which is really, I mean, this is May and we're just into June now. Meteorologically, it's the beginning of the summer, but May was turned out to be one of the sunniest Mays we've had for a long time, but also very little rain. So everybody's really, thinking now we've got this torrential rain. So everybody's happy about that, of course, especially for the gardens, etc., etc. Health-wise, I'm still dealing with some health issues, and I'm having problems with walking because I've got my leg all taped up, and so. But I'm having to look after a couple of wounds and resulting from various things going on in my life. But I'm dealing okay. So that's my check-in. As I say, we're recording this because I was hoping that some other people would be with us today, because it's a long time since we've actually been talking, and I've got a couple of things on the agenda. So hopefully a couple of people will join us a bit later. What I'd like to do, Catherine, I know you've probably got less news than Dofa, because Dofa's really been working extremely hard, and I have to lip read. You're muted.
No news. So please continue.
Yes, the only news we have, of course, is that there is, maybe you'd just like to mention the fact that we have a new regional coordinator for the multi-region. And of course, the environmental network is actually in the multi-region. So many of our activities are, so can you tell us a little bit about the new regional coordinator?
Sure. Jazia is lives in New Delhi. She's been part of one of the youth CCs in India for quite some time. She knows URI very well. She's very excited. She's also worked with a multi-regional, multinational groups in the past. So she's really good at that, or we're hoping that she's really good at that. We've just started meetings with her, and yeah, so transition is happening, and next week the trustees will be in Sarajevo, and we're going to be meeting with Karen just to go over some specifics about our region that are different from everybody else.
Yes, absolutely.
And so we're going to have those meetings, and then we're off to who knows what.
Yeah, so, who knows what.
So it's very exciting, and I had a really nice conversation with her about some of the needs of multi-region.
Yes.
Especially when it comes to improving communication and doing some things for the region that haven't been done in the past.
Excellent.
And Dofa, based on some of the work that you did as our intern last year. So nothing that you did last year is going to be lost. It's all going to be used, and I thank you. I thank you so much for everything that you've done. So I appreciate it. And yeah, and we'll see where we're going to go.
Absolutely. So, yeah, maybe just a suggestion, Catherine, if you have a chance to suggest to I can't remember her name. So how do you pronounce her name?
Jigasa.
Yeah, I know it's a TJ. Yeah. Perhaps you could suggest that it would be fabulous. I've also put in an email that we get to have a Zoom meeting fairly soon, when she can introduce herself, but also to get a lot of the cooperation.
Well, that's what we're looking at. We're looking at doing some regional, whole regional meetings.
Oh, excellent.
So because we don't get the privilege that Europe has of meeting in person. We have to schedule these large Zoom meetings, but that's what we're looking at doing fairly soon.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we have this these team meetings, of course, because even though HIVE is actually region Europe, of course, the ENCC is multi-region. And although we have the WhatsApp groups and what have you, it's still important that we are able to connect
need
with our
those
regional
connections.
coordinator.
Yeah, we need those connections. They're very important. And that's one of the things that we haven't had multi-region in a long time
Indeed
is a group meeting like that. So I'm really pushing it. And I know that a couple of my other trustees are also on board with my suggestions on that.
excellent.
So
Excellent. Yeah. Excellent. Okay, thanks for that update.
Sure.
I'm going to give my or an update, or actually it's more of not a plea, but how do you call it? A reminder. I should remind you. So this is the one of the main agenda items, namely that, as you all remember, or if you don't, I'm reminding you that although ENCC is multi-region, HIVE is actually an offshoot, but is it based in the Netherlands and falls under region Europe. And partly because of it being in region Europe was because we have access to a lot of, well, things like banking accounts and that kind of stuff. It was a lot easier to have HIVE actually as a working cooperation circle with many ties, especially for the Green Hub. And if we wanted, connections for projects or what have you, that we could go to the EU for possible funding, that kind of stuff. So it's better for us to be actually in Europe. And as Catherine knows, but I think Dofa knows as well, there are elections in 4 of the regions this year, and it includes region Europe. I think Asia is the other one.
It's region Europe, Asia, CPAC, and Africa.
Africa, yeah. So Dofa in Africa will definitely benefit by the voting going on, but for the region that's with Salika. Of course, Dofa will remember Salika very well. Salika is very, very, very pro youth and has connections also with a few of friends that Dofa and I know. So the point is, because HIVE is region Europe, of course, we are in the process of elections. And everybody connected with HIVE has actually got the possibility of voting. But of course, it's quite difficult to get all the HIVE people together and sort of say, well, so what we're going to try and do is to narrow it down to the people who are actually on this team meeting, because they are the ones who are most engaged in what HIVE is doing, the Green Hub, and are more in a position to say, yes, we feel in a good place to be able to vote in the elections. So I've already on one of the WhatsApp groups, I've already got a poll. But I think for now, if anybody, I'll post the ballot paper. No, how can I do this? I'm not sure how I'm going to do this anymore. I'll think.
I can probably vote, but I cannot certify.
No. I mean, that's exactly.
So I don't know if I can even vote.
Well, you can actually, but I don't think you want to, because you're part of the TSDC. That would be seen as being impartial.
Yeah, so I don't want. So impartial. Yeah, so I need to take a step back.
Yeah,
I almost did something bad today, so
I know. Really don't remind me. When I was a trustee for multi-region, when the election, when I was on the TSDC, I made a lot of. I was thinking I was helping. Of course, you always think you are helping, but in fact, you sometimes not.
Well, they asked me a question. And I answered it honestly.
Well, exactly. You have to answer.
But then I also got defended that it was okay for me to have said what I said.
And of course,
so yes,
we have experience of you also being nominated for the trustee for multi-region, as following up from my position. But to come back to it, what I'm going to do, of course, in the WhatsApp groups, you can say that you can make your preference known, but you don't necessarily have to vote. But that's one way of sort of saying in that case. But what we're going to do is I'm going to ask Gwydden and Atom, because they're both in Europe, to sign. And then, because of course it took us a long time to get to region Europe, because of course people kept saying, oh, it should be multi-region, it should be multi. I said, no, Hive needs to be in region Europe. So I need the people to actually sign the email or the ballots. I need to. I am actually busy now with Gwydden, and with Atom. I'll unfortunately couldn't be at the meeting today, but I'll be explaining exactly how. So we just need to collate all the votes at the moment. We already have a few votes in, but of course I'm just explaining that for Dofa, of course, it's he's already been part of the process, but it's really important that everybody here knows that there are elections going on in region Europe, and as I say, Hive / the Green Hub is part of Europe. So you will be part of this voting process, and that's why I just wanted to update you on what is actually happening. So that's and the votes have to be in. I mean, you can always send us. No, let's not make anything. No, because it needs to be done properly. What was I going to say? So that's of course this is being recorded and people can hear this when they listen to the recording later. But the votes have to be in. The deadline is June the 8th. So I'm heading for June the 6th, which is Saturday. That at least Atom and Gwydden have got enough of the votes in to be able to say we can do it over the weekend, because they have to depend on, well, time apart from anything. So that's the voting, my agenda point. Next, I would like to invite Dofa just to give us an update on the Greening Taraba event.
Yeah, thank you very much, Morgana. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, coming through. Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh, look at that! Look at that! I'm gonna take a screenshot. Everybody smile. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, Morgana, for this great opportunity. So just a quick update. Earlier, I was highlighting briefly of how the greening Taraba went. I think since throughout yesterday, immediately after the project till today, I'm feeling happy. That's the truth about it. I'm happy knowing fully well that I've started a big initiative, because I don't see it small. I see it as a start of something huge and something big over here in Taraba State in Nigeria. So the Greening Taraba project started was implemented yesterday over here in Taraba. Now we went to a school. We did more like a flag off of the campaign, a flag off of the real tree planting campaign. So our aim is to reach out to all the schools in Taraba State, like all the schools in Taraba State, with this same
Oh, we're frozen.
initiative that we started yesterday. So that was more like something that will give us the zeal to continue, and we are today, and to all other schools around that Taraba State. I think in Taraba, for Taraba as a whole, we have more than 500. We'll continue reaching out to this school and speaking to
Dofa, you're freezing. You might turn off your camera.
the students
That might help.
about the need to green our environment. We aside. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's better. That's better. So Erena's
Yeah.
joined us. Great to see you, Erena. Dofa is just telling us about the second or third part of the greening Taraba as a continuous process. Okay. So go cool. Ahead, Dofa. We're not hearing anything from Dofa now. Dofa, we can't hear you. There's Catherine. This is always the problem with internet connections. And he's gone mute anyway. Okay, Erena, would you like to let us know how you're getting on?
Okay, hang on. So, hello everybody. I'm really happy to be here and join this meeting. I unfortunately was in another meeting which I didn't completely understand, but it was interesting to hear about nuclear power anyway. But I'm here now and I want to be here. So I am at the moment working with a situation of different situations about water, and have been working very intensively on a World Water Peace Treaty, because I understand from my cultural understanding, water is something that is the most precious reason for why we have life on this Mother Earth, planet Mother Earth. Okay. So I am looking at the DNA of the Mother Earth, the DNA of water, the ancestral connections of the Mother Earth, and the ancestral connections of the water, which really concerns every living human being and all life on the earth. So I'm asking very, very deeply everybody to please support me in this situation, in this undertaking, because it's time to understand we are water. We are 9 billion people who are water. We have the DNA of water. We have the ancestral depth of understanding water in our being. But my culture also has a connection that water is the spirit of me, the two waters. In Maori, we call it wairua, which means two waters. So it's a spiritual connection as well as a physical connection, as well as a biological connection. So all war, and war can be drought, war can be disease, war can be everything that affects the earth and all its creation, including human beings. So when we are pressed, we then are effectively being pressed by autoimmune viruses, because it affects the water immediately, and not only in humans, but also in the nature of everything. So please, I ask everybody to support. Thank you. And then I have, at the moment, I'm building a situation called CHIPS. For you.
I was just going to mention that. That's
that I wanted to mention that as well. I have a Sami connection. I'm working with Sami people in general to get a larger group of Sami people interested, because they are also now turning to actually joining environmental situations and becoming more aware, or making themselves more aware, also connecting their biological understanding between animals as such as the reindeer
Mhm.
and themselves, which is a vital part of their existence as people. Without reindeer and the reindeer meat, they become very sick people because they are part of that DNA. The same thing is to understand the same thing with Inuit, the Inuit people,
Mhm.
when they are hunting seals and the whales, which is not so good for my people, but they are really in need of this to exist with
Mhm.
their DNA. Otherwise, the people are not healthy. They become more sick. When they turn to Occidental food or European food and miss their own natural food that they've always been associated with, they become ill, just as the Sami with the reindeer.
Mhm.
And so I feel that we need to understand and incorporate in ourselves as people. We have in different nations the connections with people to their lands and their reindeer because this is their life, this is their absolute DNA existence together. So, with that, it's to understand that all war is an autoimmune disease and all viruses that are autoimmune naturally affect not only human beings, such as Ebola, they affect also the nature around. So it's really important for people to understand we need the common census of everything is water. This
Yeah,
is what connects absolutely everything.
indeed.
So this is what I'm working on a water peace treaty, not only for human beings, but also for the nature as well. This peace
Yeah, yeah.
to, okay.
Yeah. I was just going to say the acronym CHIPS, because we've been working, I have the whole concept of HIVE, but we decided that because Erena is living in Sweden but has the Maori connection, etc., that we would call this new cooperation circle the Cultural Heritage Indigenous People Scandinavia, because Scandinavia is now also encompassing Greenland. So Greenland is part of Europe for obvious reasons now. So that's why we get to the acronym CHIPS. So that's just giving a little bit of an idea. And of course, on Greenland, there is our very, very dear uncle Angangak, who has been a supporter of URI for a long time. He's also part of a multi cooperation circle, an MCC called Hidden Seeds. And what I hadn't told Erena, because there's been so much happening, this cooperation circle, Hidden Seeds, I'm also planning to, with Chief Phil Lane and Angangak, to reactivate it. So Catherine knows that we've decided that the term multi cooperation circle MCC is going to be also reactivated. So I will be well, I am in touch now with Chief Phil Lane and Angangnak and various other people from Hidden Seeds, and they will be there also to help us with our CC because we're based in Europe. That's why I say the connections that we have, Europe at our, on our doorstep, including Greenland now, is also extremely important. But then the connection with the environmental network, of course, is then it's multi-region and then it's global. So anything like the water treaty that Erena is proposing, of course, is important. And anything we do to prevent war is global. So that's putting it into context. So it's a big challenge, of course, Erena, and I'm absolutely thrilled that you're really taking these steps because it's also including Indigenous people, but people from very different walks of life. And as you pointed out, people who say you should be vegan and all the rest of it. And we kept saying, well, some people, they can't exist on a vegan diet. They have to have meat because meat, like the reindeer, like the whales and what have you, they depend, and their DNA is also geared towards animal fat, so they cannot be vegan. So it's I know Catherine knows exactly what I'm talking about, because
Well, yeah, I go back to a meeting that I attended in South Africa where someone from Greenland stated quite, it's like, you can't, try growing potatoes in an ice box.
Exactly.
You can't,
No.
and I live in Canada, and so I know the seasonal nature of things, although we are now building a lot more greenhouses and some interesting things are happening along those lines. And the way to utilize water through that has been very interesting as well. So, we're trying to do some of those things, but yes, you can't. There's certain things that, are important to people's DNA, as you mentioned, or to their whole life. My family, oh, I'm getting an echo through my hearing aids. My family is Irish, goes Irish way back. We were cattle raiders. We raised cattle. That was what my family did. That's what my family still does. So there's times when I can't go vegan or vegetarian because I need that protein. It's just in my blood. So I understand that very well. And so thank you for the work that you're doing with this. It's so very important.
Yeah, I mean, just to come back on that, of course, what we're seeing is that the way in indigenous people like the Sami, how they approach harvesting food, food production, and how it's just so totally different. And as I was saying to Erena, that's what we also need to understand and learn, because we can apply those methods of being grateful, gratitude, how we harvest things, that we have a completely different connection with our food supply, that we then start realizing, one, how important bees are, and how important water is, how important soil is. We know that if the soil is depleted, so we're getting a much better idea of our connection with all these different components, which then go towards, having healthy food. So Erena, continue, please.
Okay, no. But also to understand that the Inuit people and the Sami people, they have a spiritual, personal contact with direct contact and agreement with this lifestyle and the way of living. So it may not look like it, but as long as the people adhere to the spiritual practices, that they need to always give back to the commitment of their food, which we don't do in the West, which I know this for my Maori, for my people, this is also a very strong thing, to give a commitment of giving back. I've grown up with that learning and understanding, so when I saw it, I understand it immediately. The thing is that we have a different way of living with food here in the West, general, all over the earth, which demeans our food practices. There's no thankfulness. There's you can eat different fruits in and out of season when there is no. So we go past nature, we go past the commitment, we go past how many people really commit themselves to understanding when a vegetable that is not available to me, that doesn't grow in the snow, is available to me now. Where is our commitment as human beings? And this is another thing I want to understand, because all of this situation, vegetables, fruits, command a greater source of water constantly to exist on my table. And so where do we have the respect and understanding for this? That's just one thing. But I don't want to crash or go against anything or anyone, but I'm just asking that we need to have more commitment to what we accept. And I know this for a fact. So I would really dearly like to say that this is not a situation to say no, no, no to anything. It's a situation to understand what my people taught me always. Never refuse food in any way, form, because at one time when it is not there, this is something that you really need to learn to do. Even if it goes against you 100%, you need to learn. And when there is no place to grow our food, then that's the wrong time to start praying and taking the different commitments. So I'm very glad with the situation of CHIPS to come in and bring peoples that are committed to their land and their way of life. And this is very deep for me to say this. This is a living way of life. This is not a once-off, once-over thing. It's a commitment to taking care of the nature's natural cycle, and follow their food, follow the rainbow, but also be committed, like to give back. They give back, and they give back the bones as they give back meat. They give back to the nature. So this is something else to understand. And I'm really, really deeply saying I do not have anything against vegetarianism. I was this once. I did this for 5 years as a vegan. But I also understand in my Māori way and my of being, I too also need to return to my Māori food, which is seafood, which is different food that and I would also respect this of the people, such as our dear friend who was speaking about in Africa, people have different commitments just to stay alive. And basically, I hope that this situation of being a champion for the water this is one thing I want to say more to everybody. I don't own this. I do not do this for myself. I do this for the future of at least 20 generations in front of me, because this is what was given to me 20 generations behind me. So this is my time in this time frame of life on this earth to do this work that I'm doing. Not so easy.
certainly isn't. So we've already seen how but Dofa is also leading the way. You know, this is why the Hive, the Green Hub, how can we support each other? But the only problem is, I find as well, Erena, is even though we ask people to just donate a cup of coffee, it's so difficult. And then a lot of people asking for funds and all the rest of it. I absolutely understand that. But what we really need is a commitment from everybody to sort of say, I promise, and I think that we really need to help people to understand why that commitment is also so important, because it's a commitment to yourself. And I think a lot of people sort of think, well, if I go to church on Sunday, that's fine. I've done my bit. We've gone beyond that. Well, it's every single moment of the day. Our commitment is not just, going to a meeting and think, oh, I've done my bit and I'm fine for the rest of the time. No, I think what we really need to do as well is to try and help people realize what the commitment is and how you can make that part of your being, because I was saying that actually, recently I was working with a Charter for Compassion, and thinking about golden rule and what have you. And I came up with just a short sort of thing to remind everybody. And I'll quote it now. I'll post it in the chat at another time. All acts of hate and oppression are acts of harm. All acts of love and compassion are acts of harmony.
Mm-hmm.
Erena and I were talking about this just a few hours ago, and we were both saying that when we do an act of love and compassion, all that energy is going out there. It's going out there. It's been recorded, as well as every act of harm. It's always, but the more compassion, the more love we're sending out there. That's the way we can actually help the earth, Mother Earth, our fellow beings, to realize that love will prevail. Love will prevail. Compassion will prevail. Peace, harmony will prevail. Ultimately, because we know, I think everybody knows deep in their heart, that an act of compassion is far more easier, in a sense, than an act of harm. You know, it takes a lot to harm somebody. It really does. You need to. But when you think about an act of love, compassion, kindness, a smile, helping somebody, it's so much easier. And I think if everybody realizes that every single act of love, compassion is an act of harmony, then we start realizing that we're not powerless. And I think this is what, and we were talking about the DNA of water. And I was saying that actually all the water that goes through us, because we're 70% water, and whether we piss it out or whatever, the water goes back, and the water also has memory. So, yeah. And we were saying that never make the mistake that things are remembered, recorded. There is this huge thing, this whole being, which records everything. So we were saying that the water is such a wonderful, wonderful way to remind us of this ancient memory, but also that we can still feeding into this memory. We are providing the memories. So that was another thing. I think, Erena, when we talk about water, we should also remember that the water remembers.
Totally.
Yeah. So next time you go to the toilet, bless it.
Now we're getting very, very nitty gritty. Okay. I just want to say one more thing to everybody, and I feel that I will pursue this in such a strong way. I'm determined to pursue this. Okay, it's time for the people that have economy to really give back. They are not flowing. They're not in the essence of flowing. So I'm really wanting to understand this situation. It is in the way that we are so cold and closed-hearted there and afraid of losing power or losing the possibility of prosperity. It's time to approach and help these people give back what they owe the earth, but also what they owe their fellow human beings. Because the biggest percent of economy is held by people that are doing a stalemate. They're actually doing a stalemate. And they just keep on robbing the people or taking away from the people the possibility to take care of what is needed to be taken care of. We cannot, absolutely not, live on pesticides, being poisoned by that, or also herbicides. This is no longer possible. The water cannot sustain this approach to your and my food.
Thank you, Erena. That's wonderful. I see now that Shams has also joined us. Very quickly, Shams, how are you doing?
Yeah, hello, it's going on. How are you?
We're doing well. We're doing well. But it's nearly the end of the meeting, so let's hear how you're doing. You're still in Bangladesh?
Yeah, I'm in Bangladesh. Yes.
Yeah. So what's been happening with you?
Yeah, it's going on. Lately, we have actually selected a new chairman in our organization. I think you have already known about them, Mr. Monon.
Yeah, I know, but the rest of the people here don't know. So explain a little bit more about this is GLTS, the Global Law
Yes.
Thinkers Society. So what's been happening with GLTS?
Okay, yeah. Global Law Thinker Society is an organization that eventually works on environment, peace, and youth development. So what we do for environment is we arrange programs that create awareness. We do work for protecting environment, like we fight for legal rights of environmental issues. We fight for awareness campaign. We fight for creating programs that eventually raise voice of people. So these are some concerning issue we are trying to address. Also, we are fighting for the 1.5 degrees Celsius target of global warming, which has already been failed to achieve by the United Nations. So we are actually raising voice that how we can actually mitigate this issue closely. So this thing we are working for. Another is we are working on some peace-related issue, like we are working on religious peace, harmony, and equal justice for all the people who are eventually interested to work with global peace and raise voice for global points. So these are something we are working on. Specifically, we have some other project for youth. So we know that for these Asian countries, African countries, and South American countries mostly have problem with their youth generation that are facing financial crises, environment related threats, and all those things. So we are trying to cope up those things. Eventually, we were a non-profit organization, but now we have opened some regulated arms. That arms are working for economic development of the young generation. Okay, so that's why we have developed this Youth Cash, EcoCash Global Trade Hub with HIVE CC and PRICC. So both we can work for the development of the young generation and mobility, also skill development, training, awareness related program designing, and also sometimes we work for eco-friendly product development. So that can be eventually reduce the wastes of our environment.
Thank you.
Because we know that a huge amount of plastics are inside of the sea beds and also in the river beds, which is good same for Asia and African regions. So we are trying to mitigate those threats and create a win-win solution for all the people. This is some brief of the GLTS and GLTS related project EcoCash Global Trade Hub. So this is in a brief about our organization.
Yeah. I know we were talking very recently about participation in COP 31, which is this year going to be in Turkey. So we're already busy seeing if we can get a ticket, because GLTS is an ECOSOC. That's I can't remember. Anyway, it's attached to the United Nations. So they have a ticket. And of course, that's how we ended up at COP29 in Baku. And Raoma went to COP30 in Brazil. So with a bit of luck, we can try and get a place in Antalya in Turkey. Unfortunately, Shams and Roma wanted to get to Bonn this year for the climate conference in Bonn, which we went to a couple of years ago. That was when we were just before that, preempting COP29. Unfortunately, the visa problems are just getting so wacky. The visa applications have been rejected. They just can't get to Schengen countries, even though we, have proposals and I'm making references, etc., etc., etc. It's just absolutely. Of course, it's the fight of, or the flight risk that people want to stay in Europe and all the rest of it. It's really, really hampering any kind of contact. I just hope that for Turkey that we won't have the same problems. Of course, I'm trying to help with these visa applications, but it's just one of these problems now that many people in the world are having to face because of politics and all the rest of it. But hopefully we will be in Turkey, Shams, for COP31. So we'll be doing a lot of preparation for that. So that's something at least to look forward to. And of course, we're continuing with the projects. Dofa was just telling us about the continuing greening tower, but it's really moving on very nicely. We're having less success with the biodigester for Francoise. The funding is just really, really, truly difficult when people just want so much information, and it's really, really hard to get even a few dollars without going through a whole process like from here to the moon. We won't give it up, Shams, will we? We will still try, because the biodigester is replicable in many countries, especially countries like Bangladesh, where there is a lot of problems with flooding and what have you. So you need to keep your water, of course, in a biodigester. It also encompasses the whole process of greening the land, etc., etc. So, and we're also thinking about it. I was talking about we're now in Suriname, and they could definitely use the biodigester in Suriname, because cassava is their main produce, of course. And so we're still looking at ways of actually funding Francoise biodigester, call it Francoise biodigester, but it is extremely difficult. It really is. It's not easy to get funding these days. So say Shams and Roma, I'm very grateful for the efforts you're trying. Yeah.
Banks and financial institutions like conventional lenders don't actually interested to give such type of funds when it's come to green project and like something that have impact but not business potentials.
Yes.
The banks want something that is business potential.
Yeah. Yeah.
They want something there where they invest and get high return. That's why these green projects are not getting momentum.
Yeah.
That's one.
Unfortunately, but as I say, we'll not give up. We'll not give up. And then it's always well, what can we do in our own community? So that's what we're doing with Dofa, of course, sort of continuing even a small, well, for investors. This is more of a charity, of course, what he's doing, but he's also getting experience. And this is the other side of these projects. We're giving young entrepreneurs real experience now of how to set up something like this. And people forget that. It's not just funding for a project like a biodigester, but it's also helping everybody involved. How do you do this? How do you accountability, all the village banking, all the things that are connected to any of these projects. And this is where we keep saying, it's not just an item. And it's not just, but it's a whole process that we're trying to help young people or young entrepreneurs, because it can be old people, but they're new at the job, if you see what I mean. So, but it does take time and patience. We have to really, and not give up, just not give up. Yeah. So I'd like to end the meeting now. We're just coming up to the hour. It's just been full moon, and I wrote actually it was an ode to the bees. I think you'll love this one. So I'd like to finish with I'm just getting where's the text gone? Here we go. So thank you everybody for being with us. As it's been recorded, and best wishes also to all the people you know, and of course, and I'd like to close with an ode to Melissa, the bee priestess. Oh Melissa, ye dancers in the sanctified sunlight, ye singers of the green and growing world, carry our prayers through meadow, grove and glen. Bear them upon thy soft and velvet wings unto the spirit of the living earth. And if there linger grief within the heart, or words unspoken to the wandering dead, then murmur them unto the listening bees, for they remember what mankind forgets, and keep the ancient covenant alive. Now bless the seeds that lay bare beneath the moon. Bless these hands that tend the tender shoots. Bless every blossom, yet to greet the dawn. May abundance rise from dark and sacred soil. May the hives swell rich with golden song. O radiant Melissa, tarry yet a while, dance in our dreams and sanctify this rite, till moon doth wane and dawn reclaim the sky. Blessed be. Thank you, everybody.
Pero, karaka. Red, orange. Kofai, kakariki. Yellow, green. Kikorangi. Light blue. Kahurangi pora. Poropo. Dark blue, orange. Ki o te kakau o uanuku. These are the colors of the rainbow.
Thank you so much, Erena. And
thank you very
and see you next month. I'm going to stay around a little bit because I make extra notes, of course, but we will be stopping the recording well as soon as I finish. So thank you all for being with us, and see you next month or online on other meetings. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. Oh, my darling. Well, I missed. Where was the voting, my sweetheart? I didn't get there. I was on something else with you, Ari.
Oh yeah. Well, was it Gathering Earth?
Yes.
With Lauren. I missed it as well. I was right at the end, and I said I have to go because I got this meeting. But yeah.
Okay. So I was wondering, when do I vote? How do I vote? If you can
Well,
just
I'll send you the I'll connect you with the I'll show you how to do it.
Okay, cool. Okay, right.
Right. So I'm just making my notes. There we go. I do get the notes anyway, but it's always nice to have my personal notes. Here we go. Thanks again, Dofa, for everything.
Nice.
Oh.
Yeah, Morgana, thank
He's
you
an
very
angel.
much.
He's an angel.
Yes, thank you, Dofa. I remember. Do you know Traore from Burkina Faso? I think there is a big, strong movement in Africa at the moment, which is, I think it's incredible. Africa is on the move.
Mm,
Yes, I know Traore.
really?
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
absolutely fantastic. I've had a talk with him, and he is really, really wanting to encourage Africa to become much more independent from everything and everyone.
Wow.
I believe this. Very, very believe this. And he's looking for his people. He's looking for the people of Africa to unite in a good way, and take all the wars out of Africa. Is not possible to do that anymore. But I do want to send my heart to the people that are in this situation of Ebola.
Oh, yes. Oh, that's terrible.
You
But
know, Erana, most of the times, for somebody like Traore, I've been following his works over here in Nigeria.
yeah,
I've read a lot about what he has been doing, and he has a very great vision for Africa. But
yes,
most of the times, when he's to do conversations with persons in Nigeria, most of the times the conversations will involve people of people of influence, like leaders we have over here. So
mm,
our leaders are actually part of the problems we have over here, because most of these leaders are only passionate about what they get for themselves, not really passionate about the people. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Because I
and
think,
I do.
as I speak to you currently, there is a case currently here in Nigeria that school children were abducted by bandits, were abducted by criminals and taken to the bush and requesting ransom. And the president hasn't said anything about this issue.
Mm.
School children, little children, children that are still breastfeeding, these children are being taken to the bush with their teachers. They
Yeah.
were taken from school. No action has been taken about that. No action has been taken. The leaders are silent about it, and it's almost 2 weeks currently, and these children are still in the bush, still in the hands of these bandits, these criminals. So when a great leader like Traore wants to engage in conversations to 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 fix Africa, and leaders that are in most of these countries are not in support of that vision, is going to be very difficult for us, because we have great leaders in Nigeria over here. We have great leaders in the grassroots level, but it will be very impossible for these people to lead change that will affect Nigeria as a whole without the involvement of these key people that are in government. So that is a major problem we're facing over here in Nigeria. It's actually devastating. Seriously.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
But
you see, Morgana, as I mentioned to you, I think, yeah, as I mentioned to you, some days back, this particular greening project that I did yesterday is actually a project that the state needs at this moment. It's actually a project that Taraba State needs at this particular moment, because we have a whole issue of deforestation, and it's affecting our environment. It's affecting the way the climate is reacting to our environment. Now, regarding this project, we've reached out to a whole lot of key stakeholders in government. We'll talk to these people, share our vision to them on how we want to end these issues. Most of them will listen to us and be like, "Ah, this is actually something great," but they are not willing to support. They are not willing to support initiatives like this. They are not willing to support to see this change. So you see that this is actually a problem. That is why, for the project I did yesterday and still ongoing, I faced a whole lot of challenges. Like, I faced a whole lot of challenges to yesterday, but I thank God that it was a success. I thank God it was a success, but there were a whole lot of challenges, but behind the scene, behind the scene, that people that we work with didn't see actually. So it's actually a problem. It's a problem that we have over here with our leaders actually.
Yeah. Okay, my dears, I'm going to go now. I'm just going to do the last questions, and I'll send Erena. I'll send you the ballot paper so you can have a quick look. Yeah, and if you
can I just say to Dofa one little thing, and this is it.
Yes, of course.
Dofa, pick up the power. Pick up the power. Do you know what I'm saying now when I tell you to pick up the power? He's gone. Has he gone?
No, no, he's there. He's there.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
So pick up the power from the earth, or Mamiwata. What is the name of the earth for you?
Okay, can you take that again?
What is the name of the Mother Earth for you? Her name.
Okay, the name of the Mother Earth for me?
Yes. You have a name for her?
I actually don't understand. I actually don't understand.
Okay, well then I just say to you, pick up the power from the earth. You pull it up. Bring down the power from God. Empower yourself to stand strong and stand firm and to let your position and your action go forward.
Yeah.
That's all I can say, because it's really important, because you are doing something that the Mother Earth needs. I call her Papatuanuku, but also that God needs. I'm very much in this as well, so I hope you understand me. Pull the power. You haven't pulled the full potential of the power that you have to go forward and be strong with this. You have it in you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, everybody.
So thank you, Erena, for that closing words. Yes, we do have it. Don't ever give up. That's what we keep saying. Never give up. Never give up. Sometimes we have those moments while we're doing this, and sometimes we're very tired. But in the end, when you go to sleep, go, like we just said with Melissa, go in the dreams and the dream world, and our ancestors knew exactly how to travel on dream time. So Dofa, dream, and your dreams will come true.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, but thank you for your heart in listening anyway. But okay, my darlings, me too. I've got to go soon.
Yeah. I'll send you the information about the ballot paper, okay?
Okay. Can I just ask you one thing, Morgana? I would also love to go to COP31. I do have FN status, but I would like to know if I can. I didn't realize there was a 31 in Turkey.
Yes, it's in Antalya.
Antalya. Okay, but I'll see if because do you get a ticket, or do you get have you got UN?
Well, Raoma, who originally got the ECOSOC status, she organized it because she's the sort of founder of GLTS. It takes years for that to build it up. And first of all, you can have like 2 people, then you can have 3 people. So it takes a long time. A lot of people think, oh, I'll just go to COP21, whatever. You can't.
No, you can't.
The
you
blue
have to
zone,
have
the green zone, and what have you. And so in Roma's been able to go to the blue zone every time because of this ECOSOC thing. And so what I will definitely try to do is, even if round Antalya, I know quite a lot of people in Turkey, so I'll try and ask people, do you know of a place where we can already sort of reserve before the prices go up? So Shams, I'll already be looking for places to stay, and just hope that we can get something because these they're so expensive, Erena, so expensive. Like rooms are like $1,000 a day.
Yes, I know. been in them. So but I do have EFN status, so I'm a permanent member, but I would like to go with your group.
Yeah, I mean, you can. There's this guy from Brazil, Ninua Chake. He always gets to these because people like, and this is it's not to offend you at all, but of course they love the indigenous people coming with the headdresses and all the rest of it, so they get priority. I
Yeah.
would, and I was standing, trying to get in to one of the plenaries. I didn't get in, but he gets in because he looks the part, and that's when I said, but that is really, it's disgraceful to the indigenous people, because it's saying, oh, we just want you because you've got a nice headdress. It's really
Exactly.
insulting, and so the cops I find are not the place to be if you want. Yeah,
No, because they don't give the proper discussions, and in the main room itself, there are never discussions that need to come up. It's all orientated towards it's business minded
it's business.
now.
Of course, it's business, and it's unfortunate. The last couple of years, it's going back to fossil fuel. It's not actually saying that fossil fuel should we get rid of. They're actually saying no, fossil fuel is okay. Yeah, like what? Anyway.
Okay, my darling, we'll work it out. I really, really want to come to that because I will take a side event then, or see if I can find the situation to make a side event. I'm in harmony with nature for the rights of Mother Earth.
Yeah, I mean, we can always try to get to the green zone. That's where I met Suzanne from Iran. She works with Save Soil from Sadhguru. So she was in the green zone. The green zone is actually, I found in the end, the green zone was actually for us actually more interesting because there were lots of people who were doing particular projects and what have you. And so even if we can't go there to get to the green zone, I don't think it needs too much effort to get to the green zone. But Shams, I guess Roman will know exactly how can we have people going to the blue zone and some people going to the green zone. We need to ask, because if that was the case, then I would be just as happy to go to the green zone, because that's where yeah, exactly.
I think that would be really good, because I'm going to ask and see if my partner Doris, for the rights of Mother Earth, if she is actually going to attend this COP31. But I also want to do the presentation of the World Water Peace Treaty and the possibility of introducing what I'm going to sue for peace.
Yeah, you were saying that, so that sounds so funny, but I mean, you're right. But that's what Ecocide is trying to do as well. The polluter pays, and how difficult it is. But you really are, you're on the right track, of course, by saying those people who should be held accountable.
100%, in every government that is attending whatever is being done and assisting by not doing any action to counteract.
Exactly. So there's lots of work to be done. So that's why I say that why chips is very important, because it'll remind people of our responsibility. But the pressure we've had from past colonialism and all the rest of it, I don't have to go into it in detail.
And I'm so sorry about that, because that's the other thing that I really do want to do. We as Indigenous people, or so-called, for me, home earth people, we need to work together with all people that are involved with environmental issues.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, anyway, I'm going.
Okay, then, my darling. Thank you. Can you send me the voting forms so that
Absolutely.
I can vote you in?
Yes, yeah. And Shams, you've got the voting on the WhatsApp group, okay? So just make sure
already done it.
Yes, of course.
Cool.
Of course. Yeah, Francoise hasn't done it. She's not been very well. Francoise has not been very well. Atom, I'll be speaking with Atom tomorrow. Okay. Anyway, take care, everybody. And we'll see you on WhatsApp. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. There we go.